May 2008 was a good year, or it was a good time, I should say, that specific month, for various reasons. Not because this was released in May 2008. I want to make that clear. This is Haze on the PlayStation 3. And why was May 2008 so good, guys? I can hear some of you. I could hear the cogs turning there. Just because of things. It was just good. GTA 5 was a thing, wasn't it? I think around April 2008. Man United, my beloved Man United, were actually good. We won the Champions League that month, that year. So, it was good. This was a disappointment. I didn't actually own a PS3 around now. I was an Xbox 360 player, so we didn't get to play this, thankfully. This was exclusive to your Sony console. I did get to play it a few years later. And some of you guys would be like, does it really deserve its place on the bad video games playlist? This should be on old school. There's an argument to be made, for sure. I think it's a bad game. I think it's a bad game. Now, I'm just playing the first... I mean, you've missed like 10, 20 minutes of really boring cutscene stuff. And it's just really tedious. The story in this and the writing is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. It's very, very cheesy, tacky, woeful. Woeful game. I think it's a woeful game. So I remember them branding this. I say them, the developer. Was it Ubisoft? It did say Ubisoft earlier. I'm pretty sure it did. But anyway, they branded or marketed the game as the Halo Killer. This was to go head-to-head with the extremely popular Halo series at the time. I mean, these days, Halo, it wouldn't sell a console, but it did. That game used to sell consoles. And it got nowhere near Halo. I actually don't like the gunplay in this. It feels all light and fluffy to me. Is that a way you could describe a first-person shooter? Probably not. I think it's ugly, graphically. I think it looks terrible. For the power of the PS3 and what the PS3 was capable of, this is ugly. And it's extremely short. I remember completing this game in 2 sit-ins. I think it is about 6-7 hours long. And people waited a long time for this game. People were hyped, or rather, Ubisoft, however you say it, they hyped this game up. So the basic gameplay mechanic in this, which makes it a little bit different to other first-person shooters, is you have nectar, hence the yellow and black colour scheme in this game. It's like, you know, the bees, the honeybees, nectar, that kind of thing. So when you press L2 on the controller, you administer nectar, and you get these powers. In a nutshell, that's what happens here. You can see on the left, there you go. I've administered some nectar. So now they'll flash orange, these dudes. So I could see them more easily. It's cool. It's a cool gameplay mechanic. It's about the only thing I like about this game. It's just boring as all hell. It's just a poor first-person shooter. I could reel off 10 first-person shooters which are better than this straight away. Shall I try? Shall I try doing that? Right, Halo is better. From a gameplay perspective, I'm not that keen on the Halo story, but the gunplay, the gameplay in general is fantastic. Oh, I've administered too much nectar, I think, and that's why I've got that abnormality message there. I was just shooting at my own guys as well, because I don't know who's who. Anyway, let's think of better shooters than this. Halo. Half-Life 2. Modern Warfare 2. All of the Modern Warfares. I'm under pressure now. There's loads of them, I promise. There's loads of... Crisis 2 was better than this, and that, some people say, was a bit dodgy at launch. I quite liked it. This is a big letdown, and it's a big letdown because it's a first-party game, and it was a lot of, like I say, a lot of hype surrounding it. Reviews aren't good. I've got the reviews open next to me on the other screen here. They're not good, guys. We'll get to them in a bit. It's a time where the bro shooter was massive, wasn't it? It was big business. When I say a bro shooter, the kind of Call of Duties of this world, is that a bro shooter? I'm still not entirely sure what a bro shooter means, but You won't get many female characters in this game, or I haven't met any yet, and you know what my memory's like? Yes, I finished this game back in the day, but I don't remember if there were women in it, so it's just all like kind of, yeehaw, all the guys together. Is that what a bro shooter means? I don't know. Do you have to drink a Monster Energy while playing? I don't know. I'm being I'm coming across as very critical, and yeah, it's because I don't like this game at all. I was thinking about first-person shooters on the PS3, and it hasn't really got any good first-person shooters, I don't think, when it comes to its own flagship first-party titles. Yes, it's got the multiplats, and they're great. But think about it. Killzone, I think, is extreme. I was going to say overrated. Does anyone actually rate it? Just bang average. It's like a 7 out of 10 game to me. Every Killzone, apart from the really cool PSP Killzone, which isn't a first-person shooter anyway. Yeah, I can't think. I mean, this is poor. The action-adventure games on PS3 are fantastic. The Last of Us, Uncharted. I mean, even games like Little Big Planet. I adored that game. I always say this, I think PlayStation has had better exclusives than Xbox for years. I mean, the Gran Turismo games, some will argue, are better than the Forza games. It depends on the year for me and the console, but I would say that's a fair argument. But not first-person shooters. You don't buy a PS3 for a first-person shooter, in my opinion. You'd buy a PC or an Xbox for a first-person shooter. Anyway, with all that said, I love the PS3. It's fantastic. I'm playing a lot of it of late. I am emulating this via RPCS3. Have I said that right for a change? It's actually running this more or less perfectly, I think. Just don't try and play footy games on RPCS3. Not in my experience. They're all over the place for some reason. I guess there's more going on in a footy game. Or is there? I don't know. I should shut up and let you hear the dialogue, but it's not worth hearing, guys. If you haven't played this game before, and you've always been intrigued by this, don't bother. It's really not worth your time at all. Nectar's sophisticated compounds help your body repair. The nectar thing is okay. It's pretty cool. I mean, as a gimmick. At least it's trying something a little bit different. Yeah, this game's tedious as all hell. See if I can glance at some reviews while playing, because I don't care if I die. Edge Magazine gave this. Now, I don't need to tell you which version, because it's PS3 exclusive. Yeah, they gave this a 5 out of 10, but Edge were hard on games anyway. So take that with a pinch of salt. It doesn't surprise me Edge gave this a 5. I'm surprised they didn't give it a 2 out of 10, to be honest. But Eurogamer are always very fair. Very good review site. I'm always singing their praises on the channel. It's because generally I would agree with their reviews. They gave this a 4 out of 10. So they thought it was an absolute stinker. Famitsu quite liked it. 34 out of 40 at Famitsu. That surprises me. They're generally pretty good at reviewing games, from my opinion. I mean, we do have to take into account these are one person's opinion working at these sites or at these publications, but still, Famitsu to give this a 34 is quite something. And then GameSpot give it a 6 out of 10. GameSpy give it a 2 out of 5. Giant Bomb. Big shout out to Giant Bomb. I used to love that site. Used to love it. They gave it 2 out of 5. IGN gave a 6.5 out of 10. Official PlayStation Magazine. Now, this is where you always take reviews with a pinch of salt. I don't take notice of Official PlayStation Magazine or Official Xbox Magazine as reviews, or for their reviews, I should say. I used to just completely ignore them because they're going to fanboy, aren't they? It's a console-specific magazine. This is their exclusive. They've waited for years for this to hit the PS3. But with that said, they only give it a 2.5 out of 5. So hats off to Official PlayStation Magazine. After I said all that, they basically give it 50%. So they didn't like it at all. And yeah, they're your review scores basically. Across the board, apart from Famitsu, they did not like this game. I thought I discovered like a secret little passage or tunnel then. Let's play a little bit more. I mean, this is it. What you see is what you get. There is a multiplayer component with this game. I never played it online, so if any of you guys want to let me know your experiences with this online, let me know. I imagine it was just as tedious because the gunplay isn't good. I don't find the gunplay satisfying at all. Again, it's like everything feels light and feathery when you're shooting. I like my guns in my games to feel heavy and to have some weight behind them and to you know, when you're shooting at stuff, for it to feel good, like you have shot something. But it doesn't in this. It feels like you're just like shooting at clouds or something. I don't know. I mean, this game would have obviously retailed at $49.99 here in the UK at 50 quid. Oh, before the days of 70 quid games, guys. Remember that? Are they 70 these days, or are they 59.99 on PS5 and Series X? I don't know, because I don't buy games anymore. I refuse to. I subscribe to Game Pass, and I subscribe to PlayStation Premium. And then we've got all of our retro stuff as well. I just don't feel the need to buy games anymore. There's no point. Because, I mean, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here. Getting sidetracked here. I class myself these days as a patient gamer. I will happily play a game a year after it's been released. Why buy it at day one unless you are a rabid fan of that specific franchise or genre? Because it's never ready. It always needs updates. Like, always give it a good 6-12 months in the oven, and then generally they've updated it and then it's ready to go. It's like Dragon's Dogma 2. I really want to play it, but I'm going to wait until they fix the weirdness. And then I'll play it in a year's time. I think it's safe to say only Nintendo generally get it right day one, don't they? Sometimes their games might need a patch or two. I remember Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, having an exploit, I think, in the first few weeks of release. But you didn't have to use the exploit. You could just play the game normally. They did patch that. People were getting unlimited rupees, I think. I don't know. But generally, the rule of thumb for me these days is just wait. And a lot of the time, it will just go to Game Pass. For example, FIFA 24, that's now PlayStation Plus. You could just download that for free. Loads of people would have gone out and spent 70 quid on that on day one. F1 23, that's now free on PlayStation 5 and on Game Pass. And that cost me... That was the last game I bought, by the way. I bought that at launch, at release, and I regretted it. Because it was full of bugs. I regretted it straight away. I learned my lesson. And I said to myself, I'm not doing that again. Anyway, back to this. I've been ranting about day one releases. This was released on day one. Obviously. Every game has to have a day one release, doesn't it? And people didn't like it, guys. Oh, you might as well check on the pilot. Have you noticed I've been trying to do that for about 5 minutes? Now it lets me do it. I hate that in games. Looks like Phil Mitchell from EastEnders. Or he sounds like him, rather. Just because he's got a bald head doesn't mean he has to be Phil Mitchell. He could be Grant Mitchell. Look at me. So I'm just looking at the reception here on Wiki. Haze garnered considerable attention prior to release. Some media sources deemed it a Halo killer. I've already said that, haven't I? However, upon release, the game received generally mixed reviews, holds a 55% approval according to the review aggregation website Metacritic. Giant Bomb gave it a negative review, largely due to its many glitches and extremely short single-player campaign. There you go. So that actually does back up my point. With all the glitches, just wait, because this would have had updates. I had to throw an update on this in RP. Well, I didn't have to, but I did. I updated this game to its final update that it received, basically. And there's no bugs or glitches, from what I can gather. It's just really boring. So that's another... Or case in point, just wait, guys. Now, you do what you do what you want, but obviously, in my opinion, it's just best to wait with games these days. They are never released, or a lot of the time, they're just not released ready. And they cost ridiculous prices. How come games digital on Steam are still much cheaper than on console? It really annoys me, that. Anyway, I've ranted away here. Haze, it's crap. Don't bother with it. It's bad. It's a bad game. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Let me know if there is a first-person shooter available on the PlayStation or an exclusive to PlayStation that I've just missed for some reason here. Because, I'm really scratching my head. Scratching my head? Yeah, scratching my head. Trying to think of one. Killzone, Haze. I don't know. Anyway, look out for more content coming to the channel. I shall speak to you all very soon.